This is a tremendously exciting time for Bombardier. You know, this is the 50th Paris Air Show, which is a big event, and a lot of history's been made here. But along that way, 26 years ago was the last time an all-new narrow-body flew, an all-new single-aisle. And this month, in June, we're going to have an all-new Bombardier CSeries, the first all-new single-aisle airplane in 26 years. So that's just another historic milestone. And you know, we wanted to give you a little bit of a program update. And so to do that, I'm going to introduce Mike Archimone, the president of Bombardier Commercial Aircraft.
Watch the announcements, Jack. Bonjour et bienvenue. Good morning to everyone. In the next few seconds, I'm going to show you a video from a very good friend of mine, most of you know, Rob Dewar. Rob is back in Mirabel and will provide us with the latest update on the program. But let me tell you a couple of points, and Rob and I do communicate on a very regular basis. First, to reassure everyone, the first test vehicle, number one, is built and it's over to flight test right now. We are also building at different stages the next 6 test vehicles, which includes our first test vehicle for CS300. And finally, I'd like to also update you that we are building our first production aircraft. We have components at different suppliers, and we're coming over to Mirabel, so our first production aircraft is well on its way. And now, let me give it over to Rob for our daily update. Please play the video. Rob?
So welcome back to Mirabel. This upgrade of FDV1, I'll give you really information on what's happening. What we're actually doing is really last system checks, getting ready to prepare for flight. So really what I want to explain to you is the actual condition of FDV1. It's not just a normal aircraft. Inside we have a lot of flight test equipment and instrumentation. Very high technology. Some of you may imagine it's very comfortable. Inside actually it's very basic. It's meant to be really a very efficient working station. Of course the aircraft will go through very extreme maneuvers during the flight testing. So you can see really tied down, kind of like a military type operation inside. You'll also see all the stuff that's orange inside the aircraft. That's not actually because the engineers have bad color of taste, or probably they do, by the way, but anyway, the real reason is to really differentiate what is actually a production part and what is actually flight test installations. So I'm going to pass you over actually to Eric and Patrice. They'll give a little bit more details in the life of a flight test engineer and explain to you a little bit more inside the aircraft.
I'm Eric Landry. And I'm Patrice Calais. We're both from Bombardier Aerospace Experimental Department, in charge of the flight test installations.
What you see behind me is the result of a very long-term collaboration between Bombardier and all of its partners all across the world. In order to install our instrumentation, which are literally from the nose to the tail of the aircraft, we have to be in constant communication very early on in the design process in order to install our equipment with the partners' collaboration. It all leads to a last month of very hectic work where you can see all of the various partners coming together in Mirabel to install the last equipment to prepare the aircraft for the first flight.
This is the main ADAS rack station, which is Airborne Data Acquisition System. This is the brain of the flight test vehicle. This is where all the information collected by the hundreds of sensors is stored and will be transmitted to the ground station to be analyzed by the engineering crew. The flight test engineer will be sitting at that station, monitoring and activating different flight test systems. He will be in constant contact with the flight crew to ensure safety of the flight. One of our responsibilities as a flight test team is to prepare to every possible eventuality, as remote as they can be. This is why we have other safety equipment. As you can see here, we've got an emergency equipment pallet and a life raft. Having 100 passengers on board a flight test vehicle would get a bit crowded. Instead, we decided to replace their weight with water. To contain that water, we designed water ballast tanks. As you can see here, there are a couple of them. They're filled with a mix of water and glycol. And overall on board the flight test vehicle, we've got nearly 23,000 pounds of ballast to simulate the passengers and their luggage. One of our responsibilities as flight test design team is to make sure that the flight crew has access to all the safety equipment they can. Should they ever get themselves into an ultimate flight condition, the last resort is to jump out of the aircraft using a parachute. This is where the emergency egress system comes into play. This is the system that we spent thousands of hours, dozens of tests on, and we hope to never use.
In an environment where safety and technological requirements evolve on a daily basis, the flight test team has to adapt very quickly and come up with new, innovative ways to conduct its certification testing. And all of this work culminates into what can truly be described as a feat of human collaboration and ingenuity. Thousands of people are involved in making this airplane become a reality.
Thank you, Petrus and Eric. I hope that gives you a really good understanding of what goes on inside. So pretty exciting, pretty cool stuff. So really, we're making great progress. Stay tuned, and we'll have some exciting news shortly.
Outstanding. So Rob wanted to come to Paris and we all said no. He's just going to have to keep on working. You know, new aircraft create new capabilities. They also open new markets, and the C-Series is going to be a part of that change, and that's going to be fantastic. New aircraft is equipped with the latest technologies. New aircraft brings a new set of economics, and we're going to show you some of that. Let's take a look at this video that highlights some of the unique capabilities that the airplane's going to have. Listen, we've invited 4 of our new C-Series customers to come and share with you some of the logic and experience that they've had with both Bombardier and the C-Series as the program is developed, and talk to you a little bit about why they chose the C-Series. And so the first customer I'd like to introduce to you has been a huge C-Series supporter. Matter of fact, he's the chief designer pro tem, and has been involved with the program well before its actual official launch. And by the way, he's not only a big supporter, he's about this big a supporter. So Nico, come on up. This is Nico Bokhals, our Executive Vice President from Swiss and Lufthansa. Okay, so we don't have any taller customers, so we'll go a little shorter. Our next guest that we'll introduce today is joining us from Latvian operator Air Baltic. Air Baltic was voted one of the most innovative airline last year. They fly, when they introduce the CSeries, they'll fly an exclusively Bombardier fleet, both the Q400s, and you can see one of Air Baltic's brand new Q400s out here. Please go take a look after you're here. And then they'll fly the CS300. So, if you would, please help me welcome Captain Martin Gauss. Now, earlier this spring, we announced our first Canadian customer. Now, Captain Deleuze had asked for an exclusive for all of Canada. We said you have to buy that, earn that way out. It'll take some amount of time. I think he has a plan to be there. But we are so proud to have Porter as one of our CSeries customers, especially as it really highlights some of the unique runway capabilities that the CSeries 100 provides. And so if you would, please help me welcome Captain Bob Deleuze. Now, our next customer is actually an airline that we've yet to publicly introduce, and we're introducing them here today. In 2011, we announced a European customer who had purchased 10 CS100s. And if you would, please help me welcome Adam Scott, the CEO of London-based Odyssey Airlines. Okay, the last customer that we're going to introduce is Per Brabants from the carrier Malmo of Braganza Group. And Per wasn't able to join us, he's not able to join us till Wednesday, but he wanted to be a part of this event, and so he sent us a little video. So we'll let you take a look at this video.
When we went and had a look at the market, we saw that the CSeries was the most likely the biggest aircraft that can land at Bromma for the next 10 to 15 years, so it was an obvious choice. First of all, the environmentally friendly aircraft do give us a very good competitive edge because they use much less fuel than present aircraft. But we are basically jumping one generation of aircraft, which means that we could be saving up to 50% fuel per seat compared to the present fleet. Secondly, the environmental issues with noise especially is very important when you fly in terms of when we don't have our peak flight periods on the schedule, we can use the CSeries on charters because that is periods where we fly less. So the idea and the business logic behind buying the CSeries is also that with the long range we can use them as charter aircraft, selling the capacity to the tour operators in the markets.
Okay. It's quite the music out there. Excellent.
There we go.
Well, I don't usually have such fanfare, but I'll take it. Oh, there you go. Well, we'll take a moment to watch airplanes flying. It's always important. A400M. Very nice. By the way, if you like turboprops, there's one right behind here we can talk about. Okay, so let's get started with Nico Bukos. Nico? Nico's going to tell us a little bit about... Now we're all walking up. Nico's going to tell us a little bit about why he's been involved with the airplane for so long and why he's been a supporter of the aircraft.
Well, we looked for an aircraft which actually gave us an opportunity to develop new steps in our fleet. New steps meaning technology, environment, operating cost, comfort, and all these elements. So since a long time we've been working with Bombardier because we felt the technology was there. We analyzed the technology of the aircraft, of the engines, and eventually we got convinced that actually the technology could actually happen. That the technology could actually happen and would actually deliver. And over the progress of all these years, we are very pleased that Bombardier actually managed to deliver what they promised to us. Well, it's not yet delivered, but every step we have seen in the program actually was the right step on the program. So we're quite pleased on that. And with that, why did we buy it in the end? Apart from all the technology stuff, we bought it because it gives us a tangible benefit. It reduces our fuel burn. It reduces therefore our CO2 emissions significantly. It halves the noise approximately of a previous generation aircraft in that category. So we are a good neighbor as well. We have a comfortable cabin. And usually you pay for performance. In this case, we get the performance with the the CS100, which is better than some of the other performances, but we don't pay for it in terms of bad operating economics. And this is usually a trade-off which airlines have to take. And the CS100 actually gives us that performance for difficult airfields. For us, one of the important ones is London City, and we have a couple of other airports in Switzerland, which is why Swiss is actually the first operator of this aircraft.
I think now it's okay. We at Air Baltic a year ago in Farnborough Air Show, we signed the LOI for CS300. Later on, towards the end of the year, we made it a firm order, and what I can say, we were very excited last year when we signed the LOI. We are now even more excited at Baltic to become soon an all Bombardier operator with our 76-seater Q400s and then our CS300s. We did it because we selected a new aircraft to replace our 737 Classic fleet, and with the CS300 10 we have on order now, we can even grow in capacity because we can use it up to 160 seats. So we will have per aircraft even more seats than on our Boeing 737s. We worked it out, if we could have at today's fuel prices the aircraft joining the fleet this year, we would already save with the 10 firm orders we have on the CS300 around $30 million in our profit and loss. So looking at our options, like if we execute our options, I can't even think how much profit that could mean for us. So we're looking towards the future there as well. What I can say, the combination of the 76-seater Q400, which you can see outside, and we're taking another 4 deliveries this year. This is one of them. We will have a perfect combination, the CSeries with the Q400. We will be flying in the future greener, cleaner and leaner. So please get it in the air jet and mic that we can see it flying. Thanks.
Thank you, Ted. We appreciate being here to represent Porter and talk about our plans for the CS100. In April, Porter announced a new phase of growth and a $2.3 billion conditional purchase agreement for up to 30 Bombardier CS100s and 6 additional Bombardier Q400s. We will be offering the same great flying refined Porter service and the same great competitive fares that have been the key to Porter's success since we took off almost 7 years ago. We are proud to have selected Bombardier's new state-of-the-art CS100 Whisper jets as the ideal airplane to take Porter into the future. Our main base of operation at Billy Bishop Toronto City Airport has been made possible by the Bombardier Q400 aircraft, which is ideally suited to provide comfortable and affordable service within a 2.5-hour non-stop flying range. We chose the Q400 for many reasons. It is environmentally friendly with excellent operating efficiency, allowing us to offer competitive fares while providing the excellent service and passenger comfort we have become known for. Above all, we chose the Q400 because of its quiet sound profile. We knew that operating from the downtown urban airport would require us to be responsible operators and good neighbors. Our track record of nearly 7 years has shown that Porter has delivered on the promises we made when we announced plans to operate from this airport. The CS100's unmatched performance opens up significant new transcontinental destinations such as Vancouver, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, and Miami. Our passengers have asked for this: longer range routes, more competition, and affordable airfares. While this plan focuses around our main base at Toronto City Airport, other cities in our current network also stand to gain significantly. Numerous connecting flights via Toronto will open up markets across North America, putting downward pressure on fares. We believe the CS100 is the perfect aircraft for the next stage of our growth for many reasons, not the least of which is that it is the quietest commercial jet in production. This Whisper jet is up to 4 times quieter than similar jet aircraft and comparably quiet to our existing Q400s. The CS100 is tailor-made to operate in a downtown urban airport while offering a new level of passenger comfort. To proceed, Porter requires the support of 3 signatories to the tripartite agreement that has governed the operation of Toronto City Airport since 1983. So we are asking the City of Toronto, the federal government, and the Toronto Port Authority for consideration that will make our growth plans a reality while delivering many benefits. This includes an amendment to the tripartite agreement, which would significantly accommodate the operation of the CS100 at Billy Bishop Toronto City Airport. 30 years ago, the use of jets at this airport was excluded under the tripartite agreement. This was during an era when jets were very different aircraft than the CS100 we have selected for our growth plans. Back then, jet aircraft were noisy and not particularly environmentally friendly. The CS100 is the quietest commercial jet in production and is comparably quiet to the Q400. The CS100 is a Whisper jet that couldn't even have been envisioned when the tripartite was written some 30 years ago. You can see average aircraft sound profiles on the screen versus the tripartite agreement. The Q400 and the CS100 come in under this level, while other aircraft are significantly above it in many cases. The CS100 is simply the perfect choice for Billy Bishop, Toronto City Airport, and surrounding communities. People who were originally doubters when we first began flying tell us we have been good neighbors, and if the CS100 has a comparable sound level to the Q400, they are in favor of our plans that I've outlined here today. Thank you. Thanks.
Chuck, thanks very much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for having us. With respect to Odyssey, I just wanted to give a little background. The project Odyssey has really been an ongoing project for a number of years. We first really launched 3 years ago, and we've been working with Bombardier ever since. In terms of the formulating our business model, there were a number of key attributes that we were looking for in our aircraft, key criteria. And I'll just run through 3 of those for you. The first one is the ability of the CS100 to operate at a variety of airport pairs. I guess let's say, difficult or restrictive airports, primarily city airports like London City, potentially here in Europe, and potentially other restrictive airports, maybe such as Billy Bishop in Toronto, further afield. The key point for the CS100 is that it opens up new markets. It opens up new markets from these airports. The second point, the second criteria for aircraft was really around the importance for us as a startup airline to have an aircraft, to have a tool that basically allowed us and enabled us to put the customer at the center of everything that we do. And critically, I guess going into a little bit more detail there, we're talking about the time-conscious business traveler, the people that are focused on time for business, but also coupled with innovative cabin design and the overall comfort and convenience that the CS100 affords. The third point was the unparalleled economic and operating benefits and the performance of the CS100, as well as, of course, the light touch footprint in terms of carbon and sound. Finally, I guess I just wanted to say, on those three key criteria, the CS100 ticks all of the boxes. It ticks more boxes. And fundamentally, we're very pleased to be here today to announce ourselves, but also to support this game-changing aircraft. And I can assure any doubters out there that we will be a game-changing airline as well. Thank you.